Hey, what up, party peeps? Welcome once again to the Mixdowns, DJ2DJ, with yet another amazing talent ready to talk to you and give some insight on how he creates all his great music. Let's welcome AXXA. What up, my brother? How are you?
What's up, man? How's it going?
It's going good, going good. So I started looking into your background and everything. I like your story. I mean, because you actually grew up in a family of DJs, right?
Yeah, it's funny. My dad was mainly a DJ. My mom, I think, just messed around with my dad, like DJing at little parties and stuff. But my dad is the one that really got me into it when I was growing up. Him and his friends used to like DJ all their parties and play a lot of like reggae and hip hop. And I kind of just watched them as a kid and was like, that's the coolest thing ever. So
That is so cool. That is so cool, man. Yeah. Now you grew up in LA, right?
yeah, born and raised.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. Yeah, because I'm from LA, so
Oh,
yeah, I mean, so we got to catch up, man. We got to
nice.
do some stuff here, man. So, but you also like skateboarding. I mean, like you're just like a regular kid, right? And then all of a sudden, at the age of 14, after watching your dad, you say, "I'm gonna get into this."
Yeah, another thing my dad got me into was skateboarding. He like skated for Dogtown,
Oh,
and
really?
he was friends with like a lot of the old Z boys and stuff. And so
Yeah.
I kind of grew up around like the Venice skate and music
Now,
scene.
there was a documentary about Dogtown and everything, right?
Yeah,
Skateboarding.
there's like the Z boy documentary, and then there's the like Lords of Dogtown biopic.
That is huge, man. That's awesome, man. That's an
Yeah.
interesting background, man. So, but you were inspired. You used to go to record stores and stuff with your family and stuff and
Mhm.
look at the records. But then your cousin takes you somewhere and things kind of change. Is that correct?
Yeah, so my cousin was like, "Yo, I heard about these things called raves. There's this one called EDC, like let's go." And I heard about them.
Hmm.
Like I knew some friends that had gone to them, but I'd never been. So I was like, all right, yeah, I'm down. Like let's do it. And so we went and just like completely changed my life. And I was just like, this is the coolest thing.
Now, and how old were you when you went?
I I think I was 16. So
Dude.
I had already been like messing around with DJing, but it was more
Uh-huh.
like, oh, I like hip hop and
Right, right.
disco and funk and stuff like that. And then when I went to EDC for the first time, I was really just like, oh my God, like electro and house and like all this music is just so like crazy and so
Right.
cool.
No, I mean the other thing is all the visuals.
Yeah.
With the music and everything, it just sucks you in, man. I mean, it's like,
Especially like EDC main stage, for that to be like the first experience into that world is it was really like, what the hell?
and which DJ stood out at that particular EDC that you said, "Yo, that's pretty dope."
I it was Benny Benassi, I think,
Oh
was
yeah.
like one of the first I really like. I had got into his music like right before I went,
Hmm.
and then I remember watching him. I didn't really know too many of the DJs at the time, but I remember my cousin showed me his music, and I just remember when we watched him, I was just like, "Yo, like this is something else, man."
It's wild, yeah. No, man. Like like listening to your story reminds me like when I got started. I got started many moons ago, way before the raves and stuff. But this was like during the high energy disco era. And
Mhm.
my older brother Marco, he was the one that turned me on to turntables and stuff. And when I saw this, it was like a freaking spaceship because back then, the mixers were huge and the turntables and stuff and big old amps. And to me, it was just like, wow, it's like from outer space and stuff. And I could just imagine you being at EDC and that feeling, that rush of like, wow, this just blows you away. And so,
Yeah, it was crazy.
at what point do you actually start producing? Like, how did you say, you know what, I want to start making my own tracks?
So after I went to my first festival, I was pretty young.
Mhm.
Um, I was like, well, I'm gonna, try to do DJing as much as possible, DJ house parties and stuff like that. And then one year, I think for Christmas, my parents bought me Ableton,
Mm.
and they wrote like a really sweet note. It was like, follow your dreams kind of thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, ever since that time. I think I like opened it and I was really intimidated by it, and I was like, man, this is gonna be hard to learn. And then I waited like a few months, and then one day I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna like sit down and really try to learn. And like that day, I remember I made my first song because I like immediately like fell in love with it,
Wow.
and it was just like, I don't know, like I had not really known how to use it, but I kind of figured it out, and it
Right,
was just
right,
like
right.
I could see myself doing this forever.
Did you have any musical background at all? Like any instruments that you used to play prior to DJing?
So when I was in my teens, I used to be a drummer. Like here and there, I would try to start bands with my friends, but they would always kind of be like, you know, it's cool, but we don't really want to like do the whole band thing. And I think I was like the only one out of my friend group that really wanted to like do something in music.
Right.
And I was like, I just had like a drum set. And then when I discovered producing, I was like, I can just do all this by myself.
There you go. That's it. Sorry about my cat in the background. He's going crazy for some reason.
Oh, no worries.
Cool, man. And then you start getting into it and you start producing some tracks and you come out with I Got It, Talk to Me, Happy to Be Here. There was something that came across that I found that I was like, this kid's on to something, man. And you talk about being suspended in a state of
Oh yeah.
happiness.
Hmm.
I like that. I like that a lot. Tell me how you came to that. And
So the crazy thing about that is I heard it somewhere and I can't remember where I heard it, but somebody was talking about Daft Punk's music and how it leaves you suspended in a state of happiness. And that just like really resonated with me, like to be listening to music and just kind of like almost like floating in your head, like in this place where you're just, you feel so good and you just want to be like around your friends, or you just want to be in this place that just brings you joy. And for some reason, that just that phrase, suspended in a state of happiness, I'd never heard it like anywhere else, but it was in reference to Daft Punk's music. And they were like my first experience in any sort of electronic music, I think.
mm-hmm.
Really young. And I heard, I heard One More Time Aerodynamic on their movie, the Interstellar 5555, which is also like why I named Seduction 5555. It's like
Yeah.
homage to them.
Yeah, we've been
And
spinning it on the show, dude, and it's getting great reaction. So
oh yeah.
yeah, yeah. So that is pretty dope, man. Yeah, I like your style, I like your attitude. I love where you're going and the fact that you're still so young, man. And you start hitting these big stages. What was your first real big gig that you got as a DJ, aside from anything else from house parties and things like that you probably did before? But your first club gig that you could say, "Whoa, I'm
Yeah, the
here."
first time for AXXA, I played Academy with Young Bay, and I was like, man, this is like I can't believe like this is happening already. Yeah, it was really awesome.
Moving pretty fast for you. Now, the name AXA, where does that come from?
So I was like coming up with a bunch of names, and I had like a list, and the first name that I actually had for this project was Joy XL. And then I was like like the X in there, but I was talking to some other DJ buddies, and they're like, you know, there's other artists with Joy in their name. Maybe you should like do something different.
Mm-hmm.
And then one night I had a dream that it's just a really random dream, but I had a dream I had an ABBA tattoo on my hand,
A
like
what tattoo? I'm sorry.
ABBA,
Oh, ABBA.
ABBA.
Uh huh.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I was like, hey, that like looks cool in my dream. I was like, that looks
Right.
cool. The, you know, backwards and forwards, ABBA.
Right.
And my daughter is, her initials are AX. Her first name is Isla, and her middle name is Sochi with an X. So the AX, I thought, oh, AX, and then I'll flip it XA. So AXA.
Nice, man. Nice. That is cool. That's a beautiful tribute to your daughter too, man.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. So you start doing your thing, and how is it that you just? What do you think is it that's taking you, moving you so quickly?
Honestly, like I don't know. Part of it is I got to give credit to my manager because I sent him my music really early on,
Mm,
and he was just like really supportive. He was like, "Man, this music is amazing, dude. Like, this is so good." And I was just like, "Really? Like, hell yeah, thanks." And then he was just like, we were talking a bunch, and he would always give me like really great feedback. And yeah, we started working together, and he's just been like so hands-on and so great with everything in the whole process and just like
that's
getting
cool.
AXXA up and running, and like getting music out.
So you mentioned that your parents used to do like hip hop and reggae and stuff like that, but you also have like a passion for disco and French house, right? So
Mhm.
where does that come from? Was that
Yeah, just
influenced by anybody or your parents or somebody?
it's more like the French house stuff. I think I mostly discovered on my own, but I was always like really into disco and funk because of my parents. Like my dad would always play old disco records and things.
Hmm.
And I remember like when I was growing up, I had this funk CD, and I would play it all the time. Like I was obsessed with it. And just like that feeling, like I was saying, like the suspended in a state of happiness, it kind
Yeah,
of gives you that feeling of like funk and disco makes you feel so good. And like I just feel like it takes you out of real life,
yeah,
and it just makes you transport to this place where you can just kind of be yourself. And I've always just really loved that feeling. And like I get it now when I make music that's like very disco inspired or something.
hmm,
And like I'll be very technical, but if a song just feels really right, like I'll stand up and I'll just like start vibing out to the song like
that's
this is the best fucking feeling. And I'm just like dancing in my room. And like I won't even produce. I'll just like play the same loop for like 20 minutes and just like,
right,
oh my god,
dude.
it's so
Tell me
good.
about that. When I'm working on a track, I'm the same way, man. It's like you get into the zone and you feel it, and you're just like yes, and then you could sit there, repeat it over and over and over. My wife sometimes is like, "Are you done yet?" No, no, no. Hold on, I'm still
Yeah.
going.
Yeah, I know
Oh
that
man,
feeling.
that's wild. This,
Especially French house, the loops. Like
yeah, yeah.
you find the perfect loop and it's just like that's all you need.
That's it. That's it. I again going back to the suspended in a state of happiness. To me, when I heard that and thinking about music, it took me back, like in the 80s. And when I would hear a song for the first time, and I was like,
Mm,
oh man, that's freaking huge. Back then, we didn't have, the phones, the apps, and all that stuff. So we had tape recorders, little tape decks, and we had a punch record as soon as you heard that song to try to get it from the beginning. We would be
yeah.
sitting there and listening to the radio. There it is, and you had to punch it into so you could record it and then hear it as many times as you want. But
Mhm.
to me, that statement right there, that little sentence, takes you that, and I think everybody in the world has that moment when they discover certain music that makes you
Mhm.
feel so good and so happy, and that's why I think that when I heard that, I was like, yeah, that's cool, man. I like that. So
That's awesome, man. I love that it resonated with you as much as it did with me because I'm like I don't really feel like I've ever really talked to people about that much, but like with that post, I was just like, man, I should like make a little post about this because it's
yeah.
something that always just really stuck with me.
That's the other thing I wanted to talk to you about your social media. I mean, you're pretty creative now. Now, is this stuff that you do on your own, or do you have a team that's helping you out at this time?
No, I do everything on my own. I have another, I guess, background in graphic design, and
Ah, there you go.
yeah, I've always done like art ever since I was really little. I've always like drawn, and now I, use Photoshop and just try to build a world around it and kind of make AXA like feel like its own thing, just very visually like all one thing as well as the sound.
Yeah. Well,
So yeah,
you're doing a good job, man, and you got some good headshots there, man. So
thank you.
you definitely got the you got the talent, you got the looks, bro, man. You're on your way.
Oh, thank you, man. I really appreciate
Oh,
that.
you got it. So let's talk about Joy and Destroy.
Oh
The
yeah.
segment there, man. I like that. I saw how you got some classics, and I like the way you do it, where you kind of say, all right, this is the original. Here's my spin on it. Talk to us
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah, so when, like I said, the first name I had for this project was Joy XL, and then I had thought like, oh, if I ever did like a label or something, like way in the future, I would
Hmm.
be like, oh, Joy and Destroy, because it's kind of like Skate and Destroy, which is
Right,
like
right, right.
the So I was like, Joy and Destroy, it rhymes, is cool, whatever. And I was like, this could be a cool thing for these track breakdowns where like I take these old records or influences and I just kind of spin them. So that's like the destroy part.
Right.
Um, and it's also like kind of laughing at people like, oh, you ruined it or something.
Ah, well, the ones I heard were pretty dope, bro. They were pretty
Thank
dope. I was like, man, that's
you.
legit, man. So I'm gonna hit you up and say, yo, send me that copy, man.
Yeah,
Send
for
that one,
sure.
you know.
I
Nah,
got you.
man. That's pretty cool. So let's talk about your latest Seduction 555. Did I say enough fives? Triple
Yeah,
four
so
fives.
5555.
And loving my soul. Let's talk about that. Let's how does that come about? Where did you get the inspiration for these ones?
Yeah, Love in My Soul is I kind of just love that like driving disco house like kind of feel where it's very high energy
Hmm.
and something that's just like it has a big build and when it drops it's very, yeah, like the energy just picks up, especially when you play it live. It's just like something that will light up the room, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
uh, but yeah, it was more like a little DJ weapon. I kind of wanted to make something that was just gets like really to the point, like this is just all energy.
Yeah.
And then Seduction, I kind of wanted to make feel like more cinematic and make it feel more like it's telling maybe a bit of a story. Especially when I think back to Daft Punk's like Discovery album and the Interstellar 5555. It's like there's such a story with the music and it all just feels like such a cinematic experience. And I kind of tried to condense that in Seduction 5555 and make it kind of like resemble that feeling a little bit. Like, obviously, it's not as good as like fucking Daft Punk's album, but it's just like a little
Dude,
homage.
it's almost there, man. I got to tell you, when I got it from the girls at Circa, I was like, yo, this is pretty dope. And I
Thank
started spinning it right away, and right away I was like, people hit me up, yo, what was the name of that one? What was the name of that one? And
you.
that's why, like on my show, I like talking about the music, and which artist, who is it? Because a lot of times I get people, yo, what was that track you played at this time? I was like, dude, I don't remember. You know what I mean? So I go tune into the show because that's when I mention the name and the artist, It's like, but yeah, no, that one I like now. And you had a fun way of producing Seduction 5555, right? You did a
Yeah, so
little
me,
something there that was pretty cool.
yeah, so it's just like an old vocal note I found in my phone. Me and my fiance, I like just was like recording her saying things, and she's so like shy when it comes to recording these things.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, just say this, and we are kind of just riffing, and it's like in a lot of the recording, we're kind of laughing, and like it just felt kind of silly to her. Like, why am I saying like
Right,
these
right,
words?
right.
And I was like, just trust me. Like, I have an idea. And then I forgot about it, and then like a year or two later or something, when I was making the song, I was like going through my vocal notes and I was just like, oh, this could work.
There you go. That is cool, man.
Like
That is
sometimes it's
cool. No, you definitely nailed it with that one. And again, going back to like stuff that I do, a lot of times, I say, man, I wanna add a cool vocal sample here, and I don't know what the heck to do. And you just you get lost. So I just let it sit there for a little while. And like you literally inspire me because I'm working on one right now where I'm at that point where I'm like, the hell am I gonna put in this one? What I wanted to
yeah,
say something, but what? So I might steal your idea right there and do something like
yeah.
that because it just sounds really cool the way you edit it up. And for
Oh,
those of you
thank you.
watching, you definitely got to go check it on his Instagram, to see the video and stuff and how he got inspired for that. So what's next, man? What are you working on after this?
Oh man, I have so much music. Like it's almost like daunting because I'm constantly like itching to make new things, and like I have such a crazy like amount of music, but at the same time some of it's like older now to me, no one ever has ever heard it.
Right.
But to me, it's older, so I'm like, oh, I got to make new stuff. I got to make new stuff. So I'm constantly just like trying to better or like one up my old stuff. And
Right,
then
right.
like the older stuff, like Seduction was actually one of the earlier songs I had made. Um, Same with I Got It and Talk to Me. Those are like very old to me, and like they were the first releases.
And
But I have like,
those were last year, right? Those were just
yeah, and I had made them the year before that, so I guess they're, or no, I Got It came out in 2024, so,
24. Okay.
and then I think I made it in 2023. So it's been like a little while,
Yeah.
and I've just been like working on so much stuff, and I'm just like, I want to get like the new stuff out.
Yeah.
But
I don't know if you do what I do. Like I'll get an idea and I just lay it down. Boom, 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 boom. Just the quick the kick, the drum, the bass line, just the basics, and then I let it sit there. And then I'll come back, like literally sometimes even a year later, I was like, oh shoots, I forgot I had that. What you know what I mean? And then you
yeah,
start kind of evolving in it. What's your creative process like?
yeah, there's a lot of times like that too, where I'll work on an idea and then put it aside because like I'm just like not getting anywhere with it. And then I'll come back, like you said, like a year later or something, and I feel like now I have new ideas that I can bring back to this older idea, and then I can like finally finalize that song or whatever. And then
Mm-hmm.
I have some songs where I'll make it in a day, and I'm just like, man, this all came together so great and so easy.
That happened
And
to me literally just last week. I don't know if you've ever heard of this girl, James the Seventh.
mm-mm.
Okay, so I find her on TikTok, and she's just, at first I thought it was just like a little gimmick thing, but then I realized it was her actually singing because she's singing with the guitar, electric guitar, and she's making these, funny faces as she's singing. But I like the hook, and I was like, this is pretty cool. So I look her up, and I find her song on YouTube, the original recording and everything, the fully produced one. I go, this is pretty dope. So I grab it, and, I rip the freaking stems, and then it just happens, bro. Boom, 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 boom. And I laid it out, and I was like, yo, I want to do something with this. And that was it.
Yeah,
Literally, like in a day and a half, it was done. And I'm all like, okay, so I got to mess with this. So I need to send it to her and say, hey, yo, you want to do something with this? Because it came out pretty dope. So that inspiration sometimes just happens, like you say, where it just, boom, you're there and it's done. Then there's others that it'll take forever.
yeah, and like I really don't like when I have to feel like I'm forcing an idea either.
Hmm.
Like if I'm like really working on something and I feel like something's there, but it feels forced, I'll be like, you know what, this is a project that either I just need to move on from it, or this is something that needs to be finished in a year or something,
Right,
when I have
right,
other ideas. But like the ones that take a day, that's just like one of the best feelings as a
right.
producer. Like, man, I'm the best. Like,
You're like, yeah, it's on.
yeah,
Let's
and then you
do
get stuck on one and you're like, I'm the worst producer.
it. That's wild, dude. Yeah, no, and this is word of advice for young producers and DJs: don't throw your tracks that you're working on away. Don't say, "Ah, forget it, this sucks," and toss it out, because you never know, that idea might come back in your head and just say, "Yo, I think I need to polish this up." So
Yeah, I'll
that's
think like this is an idea for future me.
cool. So, any upcoming shows that you got coming?
Nothing planned right now. Hopefully soon. I
Right.
really love playing shows. Like it's like such a fun experience.
Cool.
But yeah, nothing right now. Just right now, I'm pretty locked in on just trying to finish as
Excellent.
much new music as I
Excellent.
can.
That's cool. So, one last question: what would you say you feel most comfortable doing, or excites you even more, producing the music or spinning the music in front of the peeps?
That's tough because man, I'm addicted to producing. Like I would way rather produce and like play video games or anything like that. Like I just want to produce all the time. But at the same time, playing music for a crowd, seeing people like enjoy themselves, get into that suspended state of happiness is
Yeah.
another like experience that I'm just like, man, I just want to do this over and over and over and over again. So
Yeah.
it's kind of hard to pick for real, but I think if I had to choose, I would pick producing just because that creative itch needs to be.
There you go. Well, you definitely got the talent. Well, listen, my brother, I appreciate you coming in and chatting it up with me.
Yeah,
Thank you very much. Do me a favor, please. Shout out your socials so that everybody can start following you.
Yeah, you can follow me on Yo AXXA, YOAXXA on everything. So
Everything. There you go, man. Thanks again, my brother. And of course, you that's watching, tune into the Mixdown every Friday and Saturday night at 8 p.m. on Vibe 99.7. My man has got a mix coming up real soon that's going to be airing on the show. So you got to check it out because the man is legit. He's dope. And don't forget to like and subscribe here on YouTube. And of course, if you missed the show for whatever reason, you can now catch it wherever you enjoy your podcast. So again, AXXA, thank you, my brother. Appreciate
thank you, man. Yeah, thank you, man.
I'll be checking it up again soon.
All right, sounds good.